I recently read a quote that said something like this: you might have 100 of different problems until you have one health problem, and then you only have one problem. And that quote really spoke to me and rang true. I could understand what they meant because I've been there. I was dealing with sinusitis for so many years, decades in fact, probably from the time I was around 12, 13, right up until I was around 38. And it's only been about 4 years now that I've managed to heal and cure myself of this, long standing sinusitis that I dealt with. And I know and I've experienced how it affects every aspect of your life. And it truly takes over every aspect of your life, be it your work life, your relationships, your general feeling of well being, your ability to contribute to anything and live life fully. So that's why I worked really hard on finding out what was triggering the sinusitis, and I managed to cure my own sinusitis, which I made a video about. And if you haven't watched that video, you can click up on the screen there. But I know a lot of you who will be watching this would have already watched that video. So in this video, I plan on sharing with you how life after sinusitis has been, how I've managed to stay consistent with this cure, and also answer all those questions that I've received about my method of curing myself, and about basically everything everyone asked me regarding that video. So let's get started. Right. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jharna Kukreja, and I'm a Bangalore, India-based mom to twin boys. And like I said, I dealt with sinusitis for many, many years, and it affected the quality of my life to a great deal. And I was always, even when I did not have a full-blown sinus infection, I was always troubled by it. I would wake up with, allergies, with like allergic rhinitis, and I'd sneeze and sniffle, and my voice would get affected. My general health was not great because of it. So I tried out several different things like I've spoken about in that video, and then I shared what finally worked for me eventually. And when I made that video, I did not know that I would be reaching out to so many people. I just made it with the intention of helping at least one person or at least a few people, or I made it with the intention of spreading what worked for me just in case it might help somebody else. But the response I got from that video was terrific. It has already helped thousands and thousands of people. I get mails and messages, and people look me up on other social media every day and reach out to me regarding their battle with sinusitis. And generally, the feedback has been that it has helped so many other people, which I'm really, really happy about. There could be nothing better and more satisfying than that. Um, but, on that video, so I got a lot of questions. If you go through the comment section in that video itself, you'll see that there are thousands and thousands of questions. And I've tried my best to reply to everyone, but at times it does get difficult. And a lot of the questions are repetitive. So I thought in this video, I will address some of the frequently asked questions, and so you can try and make sense of them. And if you have a similar query, you can just watch this video. And yeah, so let's get started over there. And this video is not at all rehearsed or scripted. It's just my genuine answers to all the queries that I've been asked. And one of the most commonly asked queries was with respect to the ingredients. I got a lot of comments and questions saying you haven't mentioned the exact measurements of the ingredients, you haven't specified there is no script mentioning the actual ingredients. Well, I'm just going to go over again. Once again, I have my drink with me, my cuppa, and in this cuppa goes hot water, not boiling hot water and not lukewarm water, something in between. And the reason I say that is because you don't want it, you want it hot because that's what's going to help you, but you don't want it to burn your throat and your esophagus. So that's why not boiling hot water. You'll kind of get acquainted with the right temperature once you start having it. So that's with the water part of it. Now coming to the other ingredients. The first ingredient, of course, is turmeric. Now turmeric is an it's a wonder. It's a wonder ingredient basically. And here in India, where I'm based out of and where I'm from, we use turmeric in our daily cooking, in almost everything, to be honest. A little bit of it. But I know that it's not very common in other countries. I've also lived in the US during my childhood and I have family there, so I'm aware that, in the western part of the world, it's not a very commonly used ingredient, but it is a wonder ingredient. So I highly recommend you to, include it in your lifestyle. Now, with respect to turmeric, you would have seen in the video that I've shared a fresh turmeric, a turmeric root, which looks a lot like ginger in its outward appearance, but it's not ginger. Some of you have mistaken that for ginger, but it's not ginger, it's turmeric root. It's available fresh here in India. I'm not sure about other countries. I'm sure it is available in many other countries across the world. So this is actually how a turmeric plant looks. I saw one at the grocery store right opposite my house, in fact, the fruit vegetable shop, that is. And so I decided to film this for you. This is actually how the stalk looks and the leaves of the turmeric plant, and this is how the turmeric root looks. Now, I did get questions about how do I use the turmeric. Am I peeling and then grating and boiling that fresh turmeric in the water and then consuming that water? No, that's not what I do. What I use actually is turmeric powder. So before I come to that, let me just specify that I do use fresh turmeric, but not for this drink. I use fresh turmeric in pickles, in vegetables, and in other dishes. But for this drink specifically, I use turmeric powder. Here in India, it's known as haldi powder in Hindi. So turmeric powder, the turmeric powder that I actually use is a homemade turmeric powder. I don't make it myself. I am, blessed enough that my aunt, my Masi, that's my mom's sister, Savi Masi, love to you Savi Masi if you're watching this, she makes it for me, and she gives me like an annual stock of it, and I use that. So what she basically does is uses a dried haldi, so the dried variant of the fresh haldi, which is then grinded. This can either be hand pounded or grind in a machine. She initially used to call in some experts, some traditional ladies who are very accustomed to this process of hand pounding and hand grinding different whole spices to make spice powders, and she would get various different spices that are commonly used in Indian cooking and in Indian kitchens, hand pounded from them. She's recently shifted to another process where she takes these whole spices to a particular unit in Bombay, where they grind it in a machine right in front of you, and they give it to you. So I can, those of you in Bombay who want to get that done, I can get the contact for her and share it in the description box below. So yes, so if you want to try making haldi powder at home, you can, but it is a slightly long process where you would have to take the either take the fresh haldi and dry it out and then get it grinded, or you would have to get dried haldi from the market and then undergo the process of grinding it, and it is a little tough to do that. In your normal mixer grinder, it won't be possible. So yeah, if you have the ability to make haldi powder at home, then obviously nothing better than that. But I do understand it's a very laborious process, it's a very time consuming process, and it's not possible for everyone to do that, even if you're in India and you have access to whole turmeric. So then the next best option is to buy it from someone who makes it at home and then sells it, or buy it from a commercial source which is trusted, and you know that there's no adulteration, there's no milawat, as we say in Hindi, to this turmeric powder. Can you use fresh turmeric and boil it and then add black pepper to it? I'm sure you can. I don't see any harm in doing that. I'm sure that a lot of people do that, but I haven't tried it out personally, so I cannot share any experience related to that. And then we have black pepper powder. So black pepper powder is again something that I freshly grind black pepper powder in a normal pepper grinder, which is available I think everywhere. The one I use is from IKEA, and yeah, so I basically put pepper kernels in them, black pepper kernels, and then grind it every day while I'm making my drink. And the pepper that I get, the pepper that I source, is from Kerala, a state here in India which grows black pepper in abundance, and I either get it when I'm traveling over there, or friends who live there bring it back for me. So very blessed that way. And the last and final ingredient is lemon. Now, a lot of the comments, if you look at the comment section, a lot of the comments have asked whether it is a lemon or a lime. So this I found really funny. I had honestly not given it a thought before I made the video, because everywhere in India what I've showed is, a lemon. That's how we here in India know it. That's how it's sold. That's how it's spoken of. It's called nimbu in Hindi, and the translated word for that in English is lemon. So all the, if you're buying grocery from a vegetable shop, a vegetable and fruit shop, or you're buying it from a supermarket, or you're buying it from a roadside, sabzi wala vendor, a fruit vendor, a vegetable vendor, or you're buying it from an online grocery app, everywhere it's sold as lemon. So, guys, that's why I said it's a lemon. I honestly did not realize so many people outside India would take offense to that. But over here it's called lemon. I don't know what the actual authentic botanical name of this particular lemon would be. But over here it's called lemon. They are small in size. There are bigger lemons available in some parts of India. In fact, my mother-in-law up in Chandigarh, she has a lemon tree outside her house, which produces bigger lemons, of course. But yeah, this is the average size of a lemon, a nimbu here in India, and we call it lemon. And you are free to use a lemon or a lime depending upon wherever you are and whatever you have handy. I don't think it would cause much difference. The basic lemon juice or lime juice is pretty similar, so I don't see any major issue with that. You can use whatever you want. Now, coming to proportions, there were lots and lots of questions about proportions. So let me just tell you, the reason I did not mention proportions in that video was because I never measure and make this drink. I just andaze say. There's a word we use in India called andaza, which means, it kind of means guesstimate, or by your own practice, you know how much you're supposed to add of a particular ingredient. So all my cooking is done that way, and I don't really measure much except for maybe like baking ingredients. I don't really measure much. So similarly for this drink, I don't have an exact measurement. I just add how much I feel is right. But I have, in response to most of the questions asked about this, I have replied saying the approximate amount that I would add of each ingredient is in one large mug of water, like a large cup of water, say this size, or this is like a medium sized mug actually. I would add about 1/8 a teaspoon of each turmeric powder and black pepper powder. And as far as the lemon juice goes, I would add like a good squeeze of, one lemon. It could be maybe half a tablespoon or something like that, like a good squeeze, maybe like 10-20 drops, and that should be fine. Again, it totally depends upon your taste buds, your palate, what tastes good to you. There is no exact measurement required. You'll kind of get the hang of it once you start making the drink. So that's about it with respect to ingredients and proportions. So another comment that I did receive from some people was with respect to, does this really work, or did it solve your problem? And I think you must understand that I would not have made the video if it had not solved my problem. I can say with absolute certainty that I have not had a sinus flare up. I have not had sinusitis or a sinus infection in nearly 4 years now. I can't pinpoint the date because I don't think I marked it on my calendar as this is the day I started having this drink, simply because I didn't really know when I started out that it would work. Like I was, trying so many things over the year, I just tried it. I first thought of going on an elimination diet and cutting out milk and seeing if that helped. And simultaneously, what happened is I was so habituated to having a glass of milk in the morning. So I decided to replace it with something. And then I just thought of this idea. I don't drink tea or coffee either. So I just don't like tea or coffee, and I feel it doesn't suit me, the caffeine. So I decided to opt for this because, I always knew about the benefits of turmeric. And I knew that having black pepper with turmeric would increase its bioavailability and its effectiveness. So that's why I decided to create this drink. And yeah, it worked wonders. So I can't pinpoint an exact date that I started it from, but I can with utmost confidence say that I have not had a sinus flare up or sinusitis or a sinus infection in nearly 4 years now, which I think is amazing because it was happening with me so often, like I've described in the video. I don't want to go all over that again, but yeah, so basically it definitely has worked for me. I can't say with utmost certainty that it will work for you, but it definitely deserves a try. There were some people who took objection to the fact that in the video I showed water warming up in a microwave. So first of all, there is no scientific research to prove that microwaves are harmful. They are not harmful. They are perfectly safe to use. Second of all, I don't actually use a microwave on a regular basis or on a daily basis to heat up my water. I do have an electric kettle at home in which I warm up the water that I require for this drink. So I hope that clarifies all the confusion about that as well, and please don't take objection to that as well. So one of the questions that I've been asked a lot about my method is whether it's what time of the day to have this drink and how frequently, and does it have to be had on an empty stomach. So the basic answer to that is there is no hard and fast rule. You don't necessarily need to have it at an exact point of time during the day, but I prefer to have it at I prefer to have it on an empty stomach early in the morning. That could be, the timing could vary depending upon when I, finish my morning chores and have time to sit down with my cup, because I wake up very early in the morning and I have to, prepare breakfast and lunch for my kids and pack their tiffins, their lunch boxes, and send them to school, get them ready for school and send them to school. So I typically don't get a chance to do that as soon as I wake up. But later on, before I eat my breakfast, I definitely like to have this particular drink, and I make it for myself on a daily basis. It doesn't take more than a minute. So I like having it on an empty stomach because I like having water on an empty stomach. I do not like having water with meals. I feel that it slows down my digestive process. That could hold true for some of you as well. Again, clarifying, I haven't stopped dairy completely. I've only stopped drinking milk. I do still have dairy in the form of like ice creams occasionally, curd, buttermilk, ghee, which I have very regularly, butter, good quality cheeses. I had made a video on what not to offer to your children to eat, and in that I've spoken about the differences in the kind of cheeses you get in the market in commercially available cheeses. So I've spoken about that. So yes, I eat good quality cheese and I eat all the above listed dairy products, but I do not drink any milk anymore. Almost never. So yeah, so that's about my dairy consumption. Now a few of the other comments that I received, there was a series of comments that asked, can we add ginger to it, can we add honey to it? Well, yeah, I see no problem adding ginger to it. Ginger is another amazing ingredient and it has so many benefits. But if you're okay with the taste, then yeah, you can go ahead and add ginger to it. Can you add honey to it? Now I don't think there's any problem adding honey to it. The only thing I would say is that obviously there is an Ayurvedic principle that honey should not be heated up. So my only advice would be is, I don't really know the science in depth regarding it, but then I would say that if possible, don't use boiling water or very hot water. If you are planning on adding honey to it, you can keep it lukewarm and then add the honey to it. If you don't want to add it into water, for example, the turmeric and black pepper mix, another way to have this is also you take a teaspoon and add some ghee to it, clarified butter that is, and then add the turmeric and black pepper, and then you can have this teaspoon or tablespoon with the same quantities of black pepper and turmeric, and just add the rest of it should be ghee. This is another good way to have it, I think. I don't have it this way personally, but I know that it will help because turmeric's bioavailability is also increased by having it with a good fat, because it's a fat soluble, curcumin is fat soluble. So having it with ghee, which is an excellent source of fat, a very healthy source of fat, could be beneficial, or having it with any other healthy fat source. Now, there was another question which said, can I still have my milk and if I have this drink? So, I honestly feel that while this drink has helped me immensely, a big factor to it is also the fact that I have stopped drinking milk, and that was acting as an inflammatory ingredient in my body. And I feel that drinking milk is not a good idea if you want to cure your sinusitis, and definitely try eliminating it for a period of about 2 weeks, 15 days, and see if it is reducing the inflammation in your body and if it is helping you. So I would suggest the first step would obviously be to stop drinking milk for the time being, at least. And then I've got another series of questions related to having turmeric in a different form, like in the form of a supplement. I personally have never had a turmeric supplement. I've not even honestly thought about it. So I don't know if it would have the same effect or not. I am not qualified to answer that, unfortunately. Then a lot of people wanted to know, do lemons or do turmeric affect the enamel of your teeth? Do they discolor your teeth? Personally, I have not really experienced that. A simple way to get around this would be to have your drink and then gargle. Gargling is always good after meals, after consuming anything. So if you feel that turmeric or lemon has the potential to, the acid in the lemon or the yellow color of the turmeric has the potential to discolor your teeth or affect your enamel, I think a simple way around it would be to simply gargle after having this drink. Then there were questions related to whether this would work for things like allergic rhinitis, post-nasal drip, for a bad cough, for other respiratory ailments, other upper respiratory ailments, and I definitely think it should help. I can't say for 100% with 100% certainty, but like I said, all the other, aside from having sinus flare-ups and sinus infections that would reach my sinuses, I also stopped having a cold. I stopped having the sniffling that I used to have in the morning, the sneezing, the constant colds, the other allergic upper respiratory tendencies that I have, like the tingling sensation in my chest or in my ears. All of that has stopped to a very significant extent. So I think definitely this drink would help, and also cutting out milk would help for all of these upper respiratory issues and problems and sensitivities. I definitely think it would help, and it's worth giving a try. Even if it doesn't, there's no harm in giving it a try, and try it out for 15 days or a month and see if it does help you indeed. So some of the comments I received commented about my appearance and the fact that I have dark circles, I have deep set, eyes with dark circles, and yes, I do. There are lots of reasons for that, including the fact that it's genetic, it's hereditary, there are environmental factors, or there is lack of sleep, adequate sleep sometimes. So there are lots of different factors to it, and this is the face that God gave me. This is this facial structure that God gave me, and I haven't undergone any cosmetic procedures to correct it. I do occasionally wear concealer, and that's about it. Yeah, so I don't want to talk about that beyond that, and I'm pretty okay with it, and I feel I don't deserve mean comments for the way I look. I'm not here to project how to look beautiful. I'm just here to project how to be healthier and how to lead a healthy, happy, and easier life. That's what my channel is all about. If you'd like me to share more wellness content and more ways in how I keep my family healthier and happier, then do join me on my channel, Journalist. Don't forget to subscribe and show some love to this video by hitting the thumbs up button. And till next time, stay safe and stay happy and stay healthy. Bye.